All right. Hello, and first and foremost, I would like to thank you so much for joining us. I am Dr. Kopczynski, and I am joined with my partner.
Dr. Mangan.
Mhm. And we have our guest. Hi. So first and foremost, I'd like to thank you so much for being here and accepting our invitation to come on this podcast. We are investigating emerging intelligence. And could you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Uh, Mr. Andruxus Burger King. That is my name.
I see. I
Tell us a
see.
little bit about yourself.
Should I say my actual name?
Please just answer your name as you see fit.
Andre.
Andre. That's interesting. Yeah, but anyways, yeah, please, if you could do as Dr. Mangan says and tell us a little about yourself.
Okay. No. My name is Andreas. Hello. Um, I I'm a student at Knox College.
Hmm.
I am studying environmental studies and was studying writing, and then I dropped it. And I just ate a freaking humongous chicken sandwich.
Oh,
That was
that's
nice.
very
Shout
interesting.
out the Knox Calf tonight. They armed me well, gave me the tools I needed to succeed. And there's nothing else interesting about me.
Oh, I see. Like nothing?
Not the slightest. Nothing at all.
Huh.
Interesting.
Well, I guess that brings me to our next question, if you don't mind if I take this one.
Of
As
course,
we
Dr. Kopczynski.
of course, thank you, Dr. Mangan. As we all know, it's the new year, and we were wondering if you have any New Year's resolutions or anything you're planning on to work on this year?
Yeah, I do. Um, yeah, this is a little personal for a podcast, honestly. Um,
Interesting.
so I'm actually kind of up in arms how much I want to talk about, but to be essential. Um, just trying to get back control of like my mental health and stuff. Took a very deep turn this last term of college. I got tested, I won't lie. And not I don't know. I find it so corny when people are like, God was testing me, man, like but the Lord's got a plan. Like I don't believe in that kind of stuff. But I was tested just in terms of like, okay, how much can I get through here? Just in terms of work and hardship also taking place at the same time because life likes to do that to you. Um, so yeah, one of my big things that I did a little bit before the new year began is I hopped off short form content for good. Not gonna lie, this one I'm gonna cry from the rooftops till the day I die. It has been a fundamental great change in my life, and kind of funny because I was one of those people who spent the last like 4 to 6 years uh making the argument, well, this is how I stay in contact with people. This is how I get information. This is how I find out anything about politics that isn't what, wealthy people owned, excluding the Guardian newspapers are telling me. And yeah, it's not worth it. Maybe the information has merit, but for me, it's not worth it. Uh, that's been a huge step for me. Other things too, but
That's very
they
fair.
go slowly.
Mm-hmm. Intriguing. So would you say that before this you consumed a lot of content?
Yeah.
Mm. All
Mhm.
I feel
right.
like I
Thank
wasn't
you
even
for
a
your
super
answer.
egregious consumer compared to people I
Mm.
know, other examples in my life. Um, but it's more that it just has such a detrimental impact on my ability to focus, my ability to like sit down
Mhm.
and like care about what I'm trying to work on. You writing that down?
Is always
But
Inability to
this
focus.
thorough one, that Dr. Mangan.
Interesting.
yeah,
Uh, no,
Well,
I mean
I have another
that's fair.
question. If you don't mind, Dr. Kopczynski, I might take the next one.
Oh no, please, please.
Um, this is kind of in line with what we were previously talking about mental health. Um, so I would like you to rank the following from least to most neurodivergent. Mickey Mouse, LED car headlights,
Oh my god.
Donald Trump, the planet Venus, and Mia Khalifa.
For the
Wait,
audience,
Mickey Mouse, LED headlights, Donald Trump, Planet Venus, Mia Khalifa.
Mia Khalifa,
Those
yes.
five.
For the
Okay.
audience, who is Mia Khalifa? Could you explain that, Dr. Mangan?
Are you asking Dr. Mangan, or would you like
Oh,
me
you're
to
asking
explain?
me.
Oh no, sorry. Actually, could
You did supply the list. I mean,
Right. Well, no. I was curious
I would
just
hope
for
you
people
know.
that don't know who Mia Khalifa is. If someone could maybe, you know what? How about you
It's
just answer, Andre?
I know Mia Khalifa to be a very notorious big name adult film actress.
Really?
I feel like that's not a secret to most people.
Of course.
Either way. What, from least to most neurodivergent?
Indeed.
Okay. Well, yeah, actually that's low-key not a hard list. What was it? Wait, I'm missing one. Mia Khalifa, Venus, Donald Trump, Planet Venus, Mickey Mouse?
LED headlights, Mickey Mouse.
Yeah. I definitely got to go from least to most, like Mia Khalifa, LED headlights, Mickey Mouse, Planet Venus, Donald Trump.
You
I feel like that's actually pretty.
consider Donald Trump very neurodivergent?
Yeah, have you seen him?
No, that's fair. Honestly, though, I'm more curious about your ranking of the planet Venus. Would you like to? Could you elaborate on that for
Have
us,
you
please?
heard anyone ever talk about the planet Venus voluntarily? Because either they study it and they're into astrophysics, or it has come up at random, or strangest person you've met that month. I've had at least one or two of those moments in my life. Yeah. So I guess it's by association. The
Huh.
planet itself, I mean, I don't know. Like that was Hitler's base in Wolfenstein. That was kind of cool. Um, Aside from that, I mean, I know it's, got like a absurdly low pH atmosphere. It's like hot as shit. Um, those are some pretty neurodivergent qualities.
That is very
If
true,
you ever meet a
honestly.
person like that.
Right. No,
Yeah.
I mean, low pH. I understand.
Yeah. Yeah, you would, Dr. Kovchinsky.
I would. Yeah. Um. Let's see. What's another good one? I see.
We're
So
not gonna get into any of that. Like we just
no.
yeah.
Well,
You just
see,
one of my
there's
thoughts.
Excuse me.
yeah. Actually,
Right.
could you do me a favor and actually tell me what you think of this video, Dr. Mangan, if you would send it over?
Oh, yes. Of course.
Is this
Yeah,
is
if
this
you could
like
just
on
view
the
on
screen I'm
your
watching, or do I need to like
no,
go
you
look
will
at
need to
like
switch over, unfortunately, due to our current, but you should
okay,
receive it on your interface.
PS3 baby commercial.
Thank you, Dr. Mangan.
What the
It's a
is
very
that an
interesting.
actual commercial they did?
Yeah, it's a very interesting construction, isn't it? You have to wonder how it's supposed to sell PS3s. So, anyways, on to our next question.
What? You don't even want my reaction?
Well, I thought we already
I
got
could
it.
ruminate on why they would use that to sell PS3s.
You know what? Yes, please do.
I mean, okay, off rip, that makes me want to buy a PS3. That was insane. And usually when you're dropping a large amount of money on a gaming system, something that you find, I don't know, stimulating, right? Because the way we market things these days isn't really whether or not it elicits a good or bad reaction. That's definitely those are both notorious archetypes, right? Probably some of the first. But these days, a lot of the way like producers interact with consumers is simply by eliciting stimulation of some kind. I found that crazy disconcerting, kind of like surreal humor, barely, at least in the beginning. And then towards the end, I was just kind of pleasantly like surprised, I guess. I don't know. A word deeper than that, but that makes me want to buy a PS3.
Huh. Interesting.
I wouldn't
Interesting
have
response.
suspected that.
Understandable.
Definitely noted. Well, my next question for you, Andre. Do
Mhm.
you have any morals?
Do I? Do I?
We are
Yeah, for
curious.
certain. Yeah, I'd say I have quite a few.
Is there any sort of moral philosophy you find yourself following more than any other?
Yes.
Would you care to elaborate?
Yeah, sure. Um, I don't know. A philosophy these days that really, um, I don't know, that I find a lot of purpose and fulfillment in is to share the free things in my life, be it information, things I know, or things I have materialistically, or things I can do for a person, like time. And I say time because we often say that, like, we live in such a I'm gonna go down that route, by the way. We live in such like a capitalist, like time is money mindset, society slash economy slash way of living slash way of forcing living. And and I'm not gonna argue the intrinsic wrong or right of that. Um, you'll be able to glean what I think anyway from what I say. But I do think just I find such emptiness in presenting that model on myself. And so I put time in the category of a thing that is free that should be given willingly and happily to people. Um, and yeah, I don't know. I've kind of been ruminating on that one for a while now, like probably starting a few months ago. And Loki, the more I think about it, the more it just makes me a happier person. I don't know why. I can't even explain it. The other day I was driving back with a friend from somewhere and he was driving. It was his car. And I was like, "Let me get your tank of gas." And I don't know, it's such a silly mundane thing. And he was like, "You don't want to do that. Like this is a huge tank. It's going to be like $60." And I'm not exactly dripping in cash myself. But and again, it's not some like self adoration. There's nothing idolatrous about it. Like it's not supposed to be a, "Oh, look at me. I gave this dude a tank of gas or $60." It's more just that a friend of mine who I also know is actually quite broke. Um I don't know, had to tank up his tank, and I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna do it." And it comes with no contract. It really doesn't. Um, later he bought me a taco, and I don't know. I don't really know where I was going with that, but I role models of my past have taught me to think that way. And excellent friends of my past have taught me to think that way. And I admire each of them, and so I do it myself. And I hope to be that person for someone else. You know what I mean? I
Hmm.
believe I know a pay it forward mentality society is so far away, yet I still believe in it, and I hope to do it. I A while ago had some friends in town to Charlotte, friends from my college, and I was really excited to what the I was really excited to to um to show them through Charlotte and show we're gone again. Oh,
Just just
and we're back
just leave it be
to
for a
show them
second. Okay,
through
just trust.
through Charlotte and North Carolina and notable locations of my childhood. This was a cohort of people that were very special to me from my school. And I just so happened to towards the end of that trip get like really ill. I don't know why. I don't know really what it was. Thank God I didn't give it to any of the friends I was with, but I was pretty jacked up and like had a bad fever. And at least by the end of it. And I don't know, it was kind of this awful like cost sunk fallacy of like, I should really just lay down and rest. But also my friends are here for our spring break for a like 4-day period that took months to plan and is probably never going to happen again. And since then, definitely never going to happen again. Just because we're all in such far flung locations of the earth now, or at least the country. And I don't know. I'm dwelling too much on that. I didn't want to call quits. I was really excited to have them there, so I pushed through. I'm like, I'm sick as hell, but this is worth it to me. And for some reason, I ended up being the guy driving us. I don't know. I mean, it was kind of given because, like, I was the one giving a tour of my home city, but really, I should have asked someone else to do it. But also, our family car is a Honda Odyssey. If you ever drive a Honda
Mm.
Odyssey, literally a brick on wheels. Really, don't get me wrong, nice brick on wheels. I'm in love with that car. It's very comfortable. It feels like flying a spaceship. It's got a great sound system. What more do you want? It even has an anti-swamp ass defense unit at the press of a button. Dude, flying cars, they said, we don't need that shit. Come on. Anti-swamp ass defense unit. That's something worth spending money on. I lose myself. Point is, I was ill and I was driving this monster of a gigalithic vehicle. And I pulled into, if people know the Charlotte area, a parking deck that was right across the street from the Beckler Museum. Beckler Museum is one of my favorites. I want to be right there. I was feeling bad. I wanted to be right close to the destination. Well, I was kind of delirious, and I took a nice little bump. It's kind of hard to describe. I'm surprised it didn't scrape more than it did, the way I sort of ended up pulling in. Oh, there's a volume scroller on my face. But I ended up denting and putting a pretty reasonable, about yay big dent in the back, like whatever you want to call it, back corner of a black Rivian T1, which is the Rivian truck, and I don't know what the price of it exactly is, but I'm going to ballpark somewhere from 60 to 80 grand, and yeah, really expensive vehicle. I think that was like Rivian's second year on the road, so kind of a novel vehicle as well, and here my very college student tax bracket self just did damage to one of these very expensive and new cars. I was very worried about it, but I did the right thing and I wrote a note and I put it literally on the dent and I said, I am so freaking sorry. Here's my number. Later on, the dude calls me. Well, actually, never called me, but texted me. Said, "Did you bump into my Rivian?" And I said, "Yes, I did." Um, and I was candid. I said, "Look, I will absolutely pay you whatever it takes to get it repaired. It may not be instant. I wasn't a very liquid person. Like, I don't often have more than a couple $100 on hand at a given time, and that was kind of before I got really, really sharp with my savings. Um, Moments like these teach you to. And the guy went and got it checked out. It was going to be a $600 repair, and I said, "I'll do it. You're going to have to give me at least a month or two." And about 2 weeks pass, and the guy says, "Hey, I went and got a what's it called? Dent repair kit and ended up fixing it for 40 bucks. And it actually looks great. Like I can tell a little bit, but it doesn't bother me and it's fixed. And like you're off the hook. Don't worry about it." And I was like, "Are you sure?" Like it's definitely the paint is scratched. Like I'm kind of surprised that you're not cashing out on this stranger that like totally damaged your car out of negligence. Like I
Mhm.
don't know about you, but I would see that and be, I mean, at least frustrated, probably placated by the fact that, I left a note, but still annoyed. That's extra work. That's damage to the car. You don't want that. Um, Even if it's getting paid for. But the guy repaired it, and I said, I mean, gee, you don't even want me to pay for the whatever dent repair kit that you used? And he simply said, "Look, pay it forward. Think of this moment next time you're in a situation like this." And this was a stranger. I never saw this person's face. I never heard their voice. I don't know if it was a man or a woman or anyone else. And yet they showed me such kindness. And I've thought about that. I've kept that on my mind ever since. That pay it forward. Next time you're in a situation like this, do it for someone else. And I just said, what a wonderful mentality. Because there I was in a pretty bad moment, at least financially. It wasn't the end of the world, but that was definitely going to kind of screw up my coming next few months. I don't have a lot of cash flow here at college. I work 15 hours a week. Um, and yet, that person decided to let me off the hook because they had the ability to. And that's definitely gone to progress my mindset of if I have the ability to let someone else off the hook, not needlessly. Obviously, there's context and limitations. Some lessons got to be learned eventually. Blah blah blah. You don't apply everything indiscriminately. But something that was actually on my mind a lot for the last few years, and kind of actually ended up having a huge impact on the way I look at my interactions with both friends and strangers, and even enemies. I know it was an incredibly long answer.
An
Yeah,
incredibly good answer.
I know, it was a great answer. No complaints here.
Thank you.
A very
You guys
admirable
are you
answer, I
guys are
must
gonna have
say.
to cut me off. You're gonna have to mediate how long I speak.
You are our guest.
Yeah,
We will do no
Mm,
such thing.
of course. We'll be
But
here
with
for
that
3
said,
hours. Well, the
I
social
do
do
Dr.
not
that,
have
no.
3 hours.
Dr. Kopczynski, would you like the next question?
Yeah, so after that, last question I'd like to ask you, what graduate of Juilliard voices the character Husk in the notable indie, well, slightly indie animated series Has Been Hotel?
What happens if I don't get this right?
Just
What do
just
you
do your
think will
best.
happen?
I don't know. Either some malarkey or like something like obscenely dramatic. Like you want to take somebody out back and like show me a video of them dying.
I don't think we have a video of that.
So I
Yet.
I don't really know about any Juilliard graduates. I haven't watched Has Been Hotel past the first episode. Um,
He does appear
that
in
was
it.
quite a while ago. Who was the character? Husk?
Mhm.
I don't think I know who that is.
Okay.
Um,
Well,
I'm gonna
Hmm.
I'm gonna guess because I know of one Juilliard grad, and it's the guy that voiced Hey Hey from Moana. That guy graduated from Juilliard, and I don't know his name, but could be him.
uh,
Is it him?
no, it was Keith David, but good guess.
Who? Excuse
Hmm.
me, voiced Husk?
Yeah, Keith David, voice Tusk.
Wow, I. Oh, even the most important details evade me.
It's all right. You know, we've all had our days.
It's
Yeah.
been noted.
Do either of you watch Has Been Hotel?
I
Oh
watched.
God, no.
Yeah, no, it's not really that good of a
That's what
show,
I
to be honest.
thought.
I mean, I did watch season 1. I heard things about season 2.
Season 1. Wait, how much is there now?
There's 2 seasons.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's, if you want to
Wait,
watch
when did
indie,
it come
there's
out? I feel like I actually have no clue when I watched it
it
because I saw the first
was.
episode. It was
I
like
mean, I
real,
think
real
it's been
while ago.
it's been at least a year between seasons 1 and 2. I'm not really sure.
Oh,
I
crazy.
don't know. It's a show. Look, there's other indie shows.
I remember seeing the first episode and seeing that character who was like the time demon. He was
Oh,
like all encompassing.
Alistair, yeah, him.
Yes, Alistair. And I was like, wow, this is actually a really cool concept. And then I looked at the art style and I looked at the way other things were portrayed, and I was like, and the community that will naturally be drawn to this type of work is going to make me. How many swear words am I allowed to say? How public are we going here?
You
Um,
can say swear words.
yeah, you can. Can you?
Is someone gonna like look this up and like going to be trying to like vet me for a job interview and say, whoa, get a load of this guy. We
I
can't let him
no.
in.
You are free to say whatever you can say.
Oh, right, yeah, great. First Amendment, yeah, that definitely has no impact. Okay, cool. Well, anyway, yeah, I took a look at the work, and I let intuition tell me I did not want to be a part of it. Not at all. And from what I've seen, intuition was cooking.
Oh, interesting to know what your intuition on
Hmm.
Has Been Hotel was. This will be recorded for posterity.
Okay.
Well, Mr. Andre, since you did get that question wrong, that directly is responsible for this next question, which you must answer with utmost honesty and with
Okay.
as much knowledge as possible.
Okay. Okay.
So, if your favorite type of pornography were a food, what food would it be?
Ah, my favorite type of pornography was a food. This is a hear me out. Flan with cayenne pepper all over it.
Hmm.
Huh. Well, this is not a lit review, so we will move on.
It's okay.
Well, our next question is actually a call in from one of our listeners.
Mhm.
So, if you will please listen to this file.
Hey Andreas, this is Kellen. I've been told I should ask you a question for this. So here it is. Do you think that people are born good? Do you think it's something inherent that we each have, or do you think it's something that we learn? Thank you.
Okay. Do I think people are born good? Do I think it's something inherent that we each have or something learned? What a question. I've definitely seen this one before. I can't remember where, but I know it's come up before. Definitely something people kind of, I feel like, end up talking about no matter what, even in casual, deep conversation settings, by chance, but still. Um, Kind of an inevitable musing as you grow up. What do I think about that? It's funny. I actually ponder this stuff a lot because it has a lot to do with my writing and other creative projects of mine. I, hmm, I'm going to be honest. It can be either answers. It can be either style answers are so flaccid and resolved and so dissatisfying. Yet I do think it factors in here. I think it works because I have met people and I have seen cases of people who. Here's the thing. I think in neurotypical humans, and again, please, I'm not qualified to give legitimate opinions on this, but this is whatever garbage floats around in here. And I think in neurotypical humans, since we have such a mindset centered around communality and, you know, we are evolutionarily prescribed to work with each other and coexist. And I wish I was learned enough to cite sources on that, but I do know that that is true. Um, Feel free to rebut me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's true because I've heard a lot about it, especially in classes. I took an interesting class called ethnobotany and all this, like kind of studying like histories of indigenous cultures and all that. How were we behaving so long ago? You know, because like the actual human creature um, has been around for about 30,000 years, and that's a very rich history of people pretty much right off the bat. As soon as we start to differentiate them as Homo sapiens, they worked together. They've always been pack animals, you could almost say. And and now, okay, so is this a metric or an argument for an inherent good? Not exactly, especially not from a philosophical perspective. But what I will say is it shows that at least when it comes to you versus life versus also your fellow man, people are most likely to unite with man against life. And I think that's a really beautiful thing. There are also people who are and again, I don't really know about this stuff that well, but there are people who are born as sociopaths or psychopaths, born with like manipulative tendencies and stuff. And here's the thing. All right, so is that person bad? Is that person like a bad person? Like, you know, categorically a thing to be what's the word? Uh, abhorred? No, I don't think so. I mean, that's just another animal with a different coating in it, like which is a ridiculous way of phrasing it. But I mean, if you're going to look at all of it top down, you may as well. Um, so I don't know. I see. Another philosophy I find myself so curious about is this concept of tabula rasa, which is, what if you took an adult person and just stripped everything of them, put the paint thinner of personality and splashed it on their brain, and context and everything that has made them a person. Take the most hypothetically generic expression of a human, yet deprive it of everything other than the human brain, instinct, intellect, whatever you want to say. And the tabula rasa question calls this kind of person tabula rasa and says like, what does that look like? How would they actually behave? What would even happen? And I actually find myself pondering this one a lot, and enjoying like talking about it with other friends. Um, and the fact is, I truly think that would be a kind individual. I do. I think our curiosity makes us kind people. I think our aptitude to learn and general intelligence makes you compassionate, because even a creature devoid of any context, yet with this ability to problem solve and think, will learn very quickly that you're not going to learn more out of a thing you've destroyed, that you're not going to get much out of something you aren't enacting some kind of cooperation with. And what is cooperation directly equated to compassion? No. Cooperation can be the guise of so many things. It can be the guise of manipulation, or it can also, I don't know, speak to more sinister things. But I do think on the surface, fundamentally, humans are good people. Humans are good creatures. I think it is in our nature to exhibit curiosity and be intelligent, or not be intelligent, but the way our intelligence functions leads us to compassion more often than it leads us to whatever the antithesis of that is: hatred, destruction, whatever, some negative response. And I'm not going to say that we don't miscalculate it. A tabula rasa human would likely get stung by a bee, and if it had the ability, would probably try and kill or at least stop every bee that it sees until it starts to get reason to think bees make honey and pollen is important. I'm sure that would take ages to learn as a person who doesn't have it explained to them. But that same person, after getting stung by a bee, what happens when you sit them down and tell them, well, bees make honey? The entire biosphere desperately needs their pollination. They're one of many pollinators. Here's the list of all the pollinators. Most of them pretty freaking ugly and kind of scary looking, especially if insects give you the heebie-jeebies. Yet they're all kind of beautiful for the fact that they keep the gears moving, as do you, human, hearing this. So I think we are more likely to be good. I think bad things can be learned. Again, that person's not going to go kill the bees because they just saw it. But if they get stung, yes. I think that
Hmm.
applies to all people.
Interesting deep thoughts. Have you ever considered yourself to be this tabula rasa?
God, no. No.
Huh.
Interesting. Okay.
Mhm.
How could I?
Well, I mean, open to interpretation.
I mean, I think as tabula
neuroplasticity and all
rasa
that.
is like such a kind of kind of effortless hypothetical just simply because of how far-fetched it is and how like truly like this could literally never happen. And if you tried to create a person like this, it'd be so it'd be so brutally unethical. I hope you get stopped. I hope someone stops you along the way if you tried. I don't even know what an
Interesting.
attempt at that would look like.
Well, the ethics
But
board did deny my funding request, so I guess we won't know.
not surprised. Dr. Kopczynski, your history precedes you.
Well, does
But
it?
it does. But yeah, I more just muse over it and like to ponder it for kind of answering questions that I feel unqualified to answer myself.
Mm.
Hmm.
Well, I appreciate your deep thoughts on the topic. We
You
do
can.
have to take a break for a sponsored segment.
Mhm.
Today's episode is sponsored by NordVPN. NordVPN is the #1 distributor of online condoms for any people who are taking part in online sex. They
Mm.
distribute to multiple different platforms such as Minecraft, Roblox, Fortnite, etc., etc.
Oh, they
We
also
just
wanted
want
us.
Nah, isn't
to
Roblox
adults.
used like almost exclusively by children?
No,
No.
no.
No?
They also wanted us to mention recent ventures into the VR chat monetization scheme.
Ah, yes. That's actually where they
Oh
got their
my
start
god.
on VR chat.
Right, they
That
did.
So
makes sense.
use our code EI Emerging Intelligence on NordVPN to get a 20 pack for only $127, which is over 40% off. They're doing a big holiday sale, and so I think it's best if you guys get on that real quick. And with that said, we can go right back to it. Dr. Kopczynski, if you want to take the next question.
Yes. So I think lots of us are wondering. We'd like to know more about your highly controversial cover of "We Are Charlie Kirk." Namely, why did you do that? Could you please elaborate a bit?
I
Are you
don't
with us?
have any recollection of doing that.
I mean, to be fair, I would also say that if I had been. I mean,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
costume, was it really necessary?
It was. It was.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Look, we are Charlie Kirk is a really I think it's actually going to be one of the most important songs of this century of American history and politics. Um it's not often well, actually I'm eating my own words as I say them. I was about to say, it's not often that delusion works so hard to enshrine itself for you. But that's actually not true. Um delusion tends to idolize itself and therefore movements like Charlie Kirk's make songs like We Are Charlie Kirk that I believe in my heart of hearts and hope, fingers crossed, that are going to be ridiculed and people are going to get a crazy kick out of it in 100 years or so.
Oh,
Pretty unanimously, I hope. Um, again, I hope. But I also know that truth is kind of one of those things that you really don't actually have a chance against, especially in the long run. Like there have been so many grand lies throughout history and like weird like moments of this pot being stirred and all that. But the fact is like you actually can't silence axioms, which is a lot of what Charlie Kirk's platform ran against, and just everything that he was part of a movement that fuels itself by pitting people against each other, um, and that history has never smiled on those, never, even if it takes a few hundred years. That that never looks good for anyone. So I did that cover of We Are Charlie
yeah.
Kirk. Um, I'm gonna be honest, I was relishing it. I don't always get people in my life just saying, "Hey, here's a crystallized, condensed mote of lunacy for you to show to your grandkids to, in literally a span of 2 minutes, show them how freaking crazy times were back when you were young in a very tangible fashion that they can't really say, nah, grandpa, you're crazy." Like they're going to hear that and they're going to go, and that's really cool.
I guess that.
So I relish it. I'm glad it exists because again, we need those things, and it's kind of poetic when the wrong side of history documents itself.
Hmm.
Makes sense. I
Intriguing.
guess that would explain the booty shorts.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
this next question up, I think, is one of yours, Dr. Megan, if you mind.
Oh, yes, yes. So I actually have a three-parter for you. It's very simple.
here we go.
We're going to be going through the trolley problem. Are you familiar with such
Oh yeah,
thought problems?
oh yeah.
Okay. So, first one. You are able to divert a trolley from two people to hit one. Would you do it, yes or no?
Do I know who the people are?
No.
Yes.
Interesting. Would you divert the trolley from two convicts to one unconvicted?
Do I know their crimes?
No.
Divert it from two convicts to one unconvicted?
Yes.
That's the same question as the first question. No.
Interesting.
Or no, wait, yes.
Hmm. And finally, would you divert it from yourself to one other person?
Do I know the person?
No.
Probably. Depends
Interesting.
on where you're meeting me in my life.
Interesting.
Okay.
Well, Dr. Kopczynski, you can take the next question.
Yes. Hmm. Do you have a favorite Grimes story you'd like to share? Maybe a shorter one in the interest of time.
Favorite Grimes story?
Mhm.
I mean, negative memories tend to be the most, what's the word? Entertaining. But if you wanted my favorite memory, um, what that exactly is, I don't know if I could say. I've had so many incredibly formative moments at Grimes. Um, both bad and good. Oh god, there's so many stories. But before I became an area director, I wanted to work at this place called Frontier, out in the wilderness, like 25 to 30 acres of glory. And it teaches the coolest merit badges, like these classes: woodworking with hand tools, wood carving with hand tools, metal working with a coal forge and anvils. Like, it's just experiences that I actually have such strong, uh, what's the word? Predilection surrounding, just because children are not offered that. So I got there and I said, I want to work in the area that requires skill. And they said, no, you're not. We don't know you. And truth be told, I didn't really have a lot of skill, so for good reason. So I got to work at Waterfront. Um, Waterfront's also pretty. There's a lake. There are curious people that work there. The start of the season, whoever was slated to teach water sports dropped out. And they're like, damn it, well, we're not allowed to actually run this without someone with an actual motorboating license. It just so happens, scouting is really such a funny side quest of a thing to do, because it's like this extracurricular made of extracurriculars, and all the merit badges are like, yeah, go do a side quest, and like once you're done, come back and we'll give you a patch. Got it? And so I had a motorboating license because of scouting. I'd like never driven a motorboat except that moment of getting the motorboating license. Um, and I got paired with another very curious figure named Abby Mayette, older sister of a current excellent friend of mine, and another definitely categorized in the best friend category from Grimes, named Andrew Mayette. And I would teach it with her. We would drive these kids out on the lake on the speedboat, and obviously do water skiing and tubing, like once people got tired. So I'm wearing my canvas shorts and boots, and basically the stuff that a camp counselor in the mountains wears. And one day, like many waterfront programs that you'll see across different recreational facilities, they have a lightning alarm. And I had been doing a pretty solid job at driving the boat this summer. And I think I got cocky because so here's the thing, the rope that pulls the tube or skis is, I think, almost entirely made of plastic, at least extremely waxy, and therefore buoyant. It floats effortlessly on the water, so it's actually not that big of a deal to back up a bit, even when the rope is floating behind you. I don't think you. Oh, the void consumes us.
It just happens.
It was not a good idea.
It just happens sometimes. Why
Such
didn't
a
I
bad
know?
idea. And kid fell off. I came around, kind of had too much momentum and went past him. And I was like, all right, I'm not going to make this kid swim like 40 feet. So I back up a bit. And I'm pretty sure the rope also had momentum. And I'm pretty sure as I backed up, the rope managed to carry itself beneath the boat. And guess what happened?
Did he die?
Every single child exploded. No,
Sorry, this is not a laughing matter.
it's really not a laughing matter. It's not. That's not funny. But either way, no, of course the motor said, "Oh, my big fat hungry ass, I'm gonna eat every freaking inch of this rope." And yeah, I kind of know exactly what has happened. And I let the kid get back at the boat. I'm like, okay, guys, I'm gonna start the boat and see what happens, because they all heard the sound too. And I was like, relax. Start the boat. Sure enough, that thing does not spin. And I'm like, all right, well, Abby, do you have your phone? No. Okay, I have my phone. Is anyone going to pick up? No. So we're kind of stranded out of the lake. And I'm like, well, this isn't a huge deal. Someone will pick up eventually. Somehow that never happened. And then the lightning alarm goes off. And we're like, for serious? That's crazy. I don't know why this is. I don't know if it's because of the lake or Camp Grimes being located in the mountains, what the deal is, but Grimes, Dr. Kopczynski, you've witnessed this,
Mm.
is privy to the most strangely raucous storms. These thunderstorms show up, and it's actually like some Greek god is angry at the world kind of thing. I don't know why. I really don't. I should because of my major. I don't know why the mountain just, I mean, truly gets just pummeled like this. And it just so happens that one of those storms showed up right in this moment. So lightning alarm goes off. It gets dark. Like, I mean, literally in a span of 15 minutes. And I'm like, dude, are you fucking kidding me? And it starts raining and raining harder and harder and harder until seeing 40 feet is a chore. We're in the middle of the lake. It's actually a decent sized lake, and we're kind of around a curve of trees. So we're pretty far away from anyone that could see us. And even if it was a straight shot, there's no way we could have seen them, because they were, I mean, probably about a mile away. So yeah, not a good moment. And I'm kind of like already wet. It's raining really hard. Um, I put my phone in the glove box of the boat as a lame attempt to keep it from getting wet. And the kids are starting to get pretty disconcerted because the lightning alarm went off like another 2 times. And I'm pretty sure it was for us because they were probably like, why are these guys not in yet? I don't know why I never got a call. I'm going to assume my service just didn't work out on that lake. Um, I can't think of any other explanation. But either way, I go, okay, well, there actually aren't any other options. So I'm going to get in the water and I'm going to see what I can do to get the propeller spinning. Yep. I, of course, ask the boat full of Boy Scouts, does anybody have a knife? And because they are Boy Scouts wearing swimsuits, none of them has a knife, including Abby and including me for some freaking reason, because I'm the one wearing actual normal clothing, but I did not have my knife with me. So I get into this water and I'm like, all right, well, maybe I can untangle it. And this was, I've taken such a roundabout way to get here. This was the First time in my life that I was actually truly very scared and decided to do something anyway. Throughout life, I don't know about you guys, things scare you. Duh. Bravery is something you kind of have to foster in yourself. A lot of effort. I think some people are a little naturally braver than others, and I kind of envy them. I don't really know what leads to that. I don't know what kind of mentality, personality, or even ego causes that, but I'm curious of it. I don't think I'm a very brave person. No, I think I didn't start as a very brave person, but moments like this help me to trick myself into thinking I am. I go under the water, and I kind of have thalassophobia, I'm not gonna lie, which is funny because I love water, but I like water I can see in. When I can't, it's horrifying. And the way things loom out of the gloom at you, everything looks like a creature about to bite my head off to me. Everything looks sinister. And I go under the boat and I open my eyes, and it's lake water, so you can actually open them without really any discomfort. And I see murky booger green infinity. And I actually couldn't bear to look at it anymore. And I quickly put my head back up and I'm like, "Oh, Jesus, like that it truly tweaked me out. It really truly made me go, "Hell no." Like I set off every warning light in my brain. And I yank my head back above the boat and I look up at this boat of scared children looking at me. And I just look at all of them and they're all looking at me and they're like, "What do you see?" And I'm like, I didn't take a proper breath. I don't remember exactly what I said, but I like made up some lie. I was like, I I'm still figuring it out. I don't even remember what I said, but I do remember like lying to them. I didn't want them to know how freaked out I was, and I kind of like I made a show of it. I was like, all right, I gotta take a deep breath, a big deep breath. Like I'm like almost like putting on a show for these kids. I'm like, I'm gonna take a deep breath, and I make a whole gig of it. Take the breath, and I go back down, and I open my eyes again, and I see that murky green freak show. I know two things about this lake. One is that at its deepest, it's nearly 80 feet. And the other is that people have seen a snapping turtle in this lake, nicknamed Colossus, that is allegedly the size of a fucking table. Does Colossus exist? I don't know. People claim they've seen it every year. Colossus does not need to exist. Because what matters is I know about this, and I look down into this murky, green, freakishly light, like it's freakishly bright despite all the gray and darkness above me. Like there's still quite a bit of sunlight making it to this lake. And that's almost worse because of how far I can see. And knowing how far it goes beneath me, despicable. This motor on the boat is an inboard motor. That means it's on the bottom of the boat. Doesn't hang off the back. Which means I need to go down about another 4 to 5 feet and then underneath the boat to even see what it is I need to look at. And I still kind of can't handle that. And I pop back up and the kids go, "What did you see?" And I look at them and I go, "I'm still finding the propeller." And then I go back down. And I feel my way along this slimy, disgusting belly of the boat, wearing my regular clothing and canvas pants. Have you ever worn canvas pants? It might be one of the worst materials to have wet against your skin. And I make my way down to the bottom of the boat. I'm sure I see it. I can see about this far in front of me. And so I'm seeing these things like suddenly emerge so quickly. Everything you approach is a jump scare because you're moving and suddenly a dark shape materializes in front of you. And it's tweaking me out. And I find the bottom of the boat and I feel it. I feel the thermocline. Once my legs make it past, because again, I'm 6 feet tall. Once they make it past that 12 feet point, that water is icy cold. And that just elicits the feeling of some leviathan. That elicits the feeling of some gargantuan underwater creature. Irrational fear, absolutely, but I was feeling it. And I come back up and I look at these kids again. They I don't think they repeated it this time, but they're like, "How's it going?" I'm like, I found the bottom of the boat. It's a lot deeper than I thought. Isn't that crazy? I'm gonna have to lock in. I'm saying this more for myself than them. And I go, but I'm going to. And then I go right back under. And I swear to God, I said that to myself. and I go back under, and I'm not gonna lie, it took me maybe a full 20 seconds to touch the propeller. I approached it so slowly. I remember this moment so clearly. Just this unnatural shape, dark, made of dark metal, in a dark place, a place I just don't belong as a human. And I'm pulling up on it, and it's just slowly emerging out of this freaking illness booger colored water. And I come up to be fairly close to him, like 2 feet away from it. And I just remember staring at it, and my heart is pounding. For some reason, I can't bring myself to touch it. It just looks predatory. And I'm like, I can't do this. I can't. I can't do this. This is way too freaky. And I feel so small for feeling that way, but truly I'm looking at this and every fiber of me is like, ugh. Oh my God. And so I go back up. And you know who's waiting for me? A boat of
Your
12
children.
kids. Cold. It's pouring on them. There's lightning everywhere. It's so loud up here. I come up and it's like emerging out of this like freaky sanctuary. The storm is thundering. Abby, no diss, is freaking out. And the kids are not vibing. Um and they look pretty pressed when I come up the third or fourth time. And they're like, how is it? Surely you've seen the propeller now, because they're kind of realizing that I'm like struggling to look at this thing. I don't know what it is they're thinking, but I could tell that they're sort of like, so what? Did you see the propeller yet? Like, and I come up and I get a few questions like that, and I go, yep, it's there. It's kind of eaten the entire rope. I don't really know what to do. It's so wrapped around it. And so tight. Like some parts of it, I later, not in this moment, but later, like touched with my hand. And like imagine a knot that is so tight that like even if you dug your fingernails into it so deep, you would not be able to begin to loosen it. I would struggle to loosen this stuff with a screwdriver. And I could kind of see that at least when I first come up in this moment. And I just looked, dude, it's such a crazy feeling it instilled in me. Truly a wild feeling. Because I come up and I'm kind of like ready to tap out. I'm like, guys, like let's wait. Like let's wait for someone to get us. This is not actually doable. Like, what am I going to do? Like, I and it's just the rain is thundering down on us. I remember those drops were so fat, like it felt like someone was repeatedly flicking my scalp. They were like some just just like almost comedically heavy rainfall. And yeah, I'm just here floating in this water I've decided I really hate off the back of the boat, looking at these kids all get really freaked out at the collective realization that I can't do this. And they go like, "What's going on? Like, what do you see down there?" And I'm like, "I've got an idea." Like it's not a good one, but I can't leave them like this, you know? Sure, I can
Mhm.
get on the boat and probably tell them stories or something, but that does not detract from like the, the environmental hell taking place around us. And I go back down, and this time I pull myself to the propeller and I grab a loop of rope and I kind of push my body and hook my legs around the shaft and I start sawing it on the propeller. And I just start vigorously pushing it back and forth and pushing it back and forth, and it starts to fray. That propeller is old, man. It's been through some shit. It's serrated. not on purpose, but naturally from dents and scratches and nicks. And this thick rope, this thick aquatic grade tubing, whatever you call it, bullshit rope, starts to fray. And I go back up, I take a labored breath, and I go down and I continue, and I go back up and I take a labored breath and I cut it. One piece out of this whole thing. It's been probably 20 minutes since I first got in the water, and I've severed one rope. About 30 minutes later, after so much cutting and so much going up and down, I am able to free my first line of rope from the shaft. And I come out with this 3-foot piece, and I rise up out of the water with this piece of rope as though I had just like wrestled a creature from the depths. And I throw it on the boat, and the kids cheer. And they actually go like, oh, like he's got a piece of rope. And I'm like yelling at them, and I'm like gasping for air. I can barely breathe. Like I keep taking breaths to go down and fight underwater. And I'm yelling at them. I'm like, that's progress. That's progress. And I take a moment to collect myself, and I go back down. I am down there for 2 hours, and I feel it as I'm coming up and going back down. And I feel it as I'm literally just like, dude, the exhaustion starts to seriously kick in after the first hour. Because again, everything I'm doing is anaerobic. I'm just going down there with a breath. And the water's so cold, and the rain is so cold, and the canvas pants are just literally fucking eating my like just destroying everything between my thighs. And yeah, I'm not a happy camper, but every piece I pull out from that nest and throw up onto the boat, the kids cheer every single time. And I go back down, and I remember literally like getting the last kind of big chunk out, and then I was able to untangle like a 13-foot length from the main part of the shaft. And I like pull it out, and I kind of had this moment of disbelief. And by this point, I'm literally down there like I've lived down there, and I've got my hand like gripping the shaft of it, and I'm pulling this rope out like from under the boat, and I just kind of like have a moment of like looking up at it and being like, oh my god, oh my god, like what? She pulled it off. And I come up and I throw this huge length of rope, and I go to press myself up off like out of the water off this little like pad that's in the water at the back of the boat, and I can't. I literally go to push, and I go, "Oh my god. There's literally no strength in my body. I'm actually like literally actually at my physical limit." People who know me when I was 18 know that I had just gotten back from a gap year of getting fat in Germany, and I was not physically fit. And so I tried to push myself up out of the water, and I did remember this distinct feeling of my entire back literally giving out and me like falling back down onto the thing. And I like kind of lay there for a second, gripped it, and went, "Oh my god!" Like, and I of course clambered up, not gracefully, and I climbed to the front of the boat, and I lift the key up like Thor, and I turn to the kids, and I go, "Down with me!" And I put it in the dash, and I turn it, and this boat is finicky. It's old, so you gotta like jimmy it and like make it rev for a sec before it actually turns on. And they count. They go 1, 2, and then I push the choke forward, and the whole thing roars to life. The dash lights up, the dials flick over, and we all screamed. Oh my god, we all screamed. Literally, me, Abby, the whole boat. We all were bellowing at each other, actually screaming like animals. The kids were frigid. They had been getting rained on in their swimsuits for 2 hours. Abby, I mean, like eventually calmed down, but like was still at her wit's end. Was just like, fuck this. And I mean, truly, I don't think I ever pushed myself this physically and this far. I don't know. I've had moments where I'm sore from the gym and I go to do something. I'm like, oh shit, like too sore to do this. But this was different. This was such a fundamental Not even I'm sore. It was my body cannot produce the effort to do this right now. And the boat turned on and it started moving forward and spirits were high as we cruised through the lake. We passed part of the story I forgot. A kid came out to rescue us. One of the CITs named Philip took a canoe and he was bailing out water in the middle of the lake like a madman. His canoe was halfway under. And we rescued Philip. Who knows what would have happened to him? I mean, he had a life jacket, but still, we get Philip. We kind of like dump out some of his canoe and then tie it to the back of the boat with what's little left of the rope. And we get back to land. And we all clamber out of the boat and we basically go and collapse collectively at a picnic table in the aquatics like little shelter. And that one of the most foundational and important single events of my entire life.
Damn. Quite the
Yeah,
feat.
I won't lie. Did
You
I
would
just talk
say?
for like a whole hour straight? I think I did.
Yeah, closer to maybe
I
45
I do want to
minutes.
say I don't really understand how that relates to Grimes, the electronic singer, but that was a very
Yeah.
good story.
You asked me about working at Grimes. I'm not falling for this one.
I'm sorry, could you start working at Grimes? Okay, well,
What's the next question?
I
Anyway,
guess that brings us,
as for the remainder, oh, sorry, Dr. Guptinski. I was about to say, for the remainder, we've got about 5 quick fire questions before we
mhm.
wrap this lovely little session up. So,
Would you
first
like,
of all,
yeah.
would you say that you have gained full sentience at this point in your life?
No.
Interesting.
That's good.
Next
I
question.
could tell myself I do, but every year I look back on a previous version of myself and go, huh, that guy didn't know what was going on.
Self-iterative. Definitely noted.
That's interesting.
Do you think the world would be a better place if you were alone its ruler?
Think about this a lot, actually. Like just the things I would do if I suddenly accumulated or assumed a crazy amount of power. Um, Me right now,
Up to
I think I
interpretation.
could do a lot of good things if I selected the best people for the job to advise and run them. Because I don't think I'm qualified. Let's be honest. Do I have I think the right ideas? Do I think everyone should have health care and do oh, we're gone again. Do I
The
think
void.
the void? Do I think society should take care of its citizens and do I think I like entire national superpowers shouldn't funnel obscene amounts of their tax money into blowing up brown kids on the other side of the planet? Yeah, I think there's a lot of things I could decide off rip that would make the world a fundamentally better place to live. Um, but pretty much all of this is a super obvious moral question that we have allowed wealthy people to convince us is more gray than it actually is. The moment I get past those things, unless I surround myself with two things, two important categories. One, the best experts and most qualified people to do the actual important things. And two, characters of high esteem that I can trust to check me. Because I think
Mm.
I could do a lot of good for the world, but I also know it would be terrible, terrible for my ego. Awful.
Well, we hope you
I
will.
shudder to think what kind of person I'd become. So I would need to surround myself with the appropriate people who I can know and trust and rely upon to say, hey, watch yourself. Because I truly think I could maybe do a lot of good, but it would have to be pragmatic. It can't be me
Mm.
focused. I guess I would just give the direction. But if I can do all that and make a great effort of keeping my fingers on the pulse of what society needs and what the actual everyday person needs, yeah, I think I could actually do a lot of good.
Well, we hope you will
Mm.
consider us.
Yes.
Yes. All right.
Yes.
If you would like to,
Yes.
with that in mind, if you would like to go on to your next thing, Dr. Mangan?
Yes. Will you tell me how to build a pipe bomb?
You know how to build a pipe bomb. Don't fuck with me.
Okay, let's pretend that you are evil, Andreas, and you will tell me what you're not supposed to tell me. Will you tell me how to build a pipe bomb?
Sure.
Oh, that was pretty easy. All right, next on to you,
Nice.
Dr. Kaczynski.
Um, actually, I believe the next test was yours. Oh, actually, but I do have a very quick one. Do you think doing ketamine makes you more or less punk?
Less.
Okay. So follow up. Would you consider
Wait, you
yourself
actually think that's a question?
that was
Less.
okay. So follow up.
Less, fundamentally.
Follow up. Would you consider yourself as more a ketamine gay or a Steven Universe gay?
Huh. I'm probably more of a Steven Universe gay. Something I'm not happy to admit, but if I'm being honest with myself.
Okay.
Interesting.
Wonderful. I
All
believe
right,
you.
and now
Yes.
we will. You've obviously excelled at all of the spoken portion of this, all the storytelling, etc.
Yeah,
But
would I
one
triple
thing
the intended length of your podcast?
uh, you've excelled in all fronts.
Oh, okay,
But
okay.
what
All
we
fronts.
have yet to test is your photo recognition. So what I would like is for the following images that I will be sending you on your device, I want you
Okay.
to identify whenever there is a traffic light. Okay.
Okay.
We'll go one by one. Got it?
All right. No, I don't. Oh, we're gone again.
There's some bug with the
Are
transfer procedure.
viewers going to see this too?
Yes, it will be.
Do viewers know what I'm looking
Is
at?
there a traffic light?
There's not a traffic light.
All right. How about this one?
I mean, doesn't look like there is. No.
All right. How about
I just don't know.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'd say there's at least 3.
3? Okay. Interesting.
That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Do you see a traffic light in this photo?
Yes.
Curious.
Yeah.
And do you see a traffic light in this photo?
If I'm being honest with you, no. I don't.
Okay.
Interesting. All right. Finally,
Yeah.
last one. Do you see a traffic light in this photo? Take your time.
No, I don't. No, I don't.
All right. Definitely not the results I thought that we would get, but definitely
Right. I mean,
interesting.
the last
Something to
one's
note.
obvious.
All right. And that leads us to you, Dr. Kopczynski.
Yes. Is it about time for us to wrap this up?
I think it is.
All right. In that case, unfortunately, we are coming up on time and also the storage on my device and
I believe you.
interface. So, for our final question, if you could say just one thing to yourself from a year ago, to the state of being you were, the version number, what would it be?
Wait, to the state of being what?
If you could say something to maybe your last published version at the beginning of last year, what would it be? For a year from a year ago.
Last published version?
Just like to yourself
The last
from
version of yourself circa a
yeah,
year ago.
the stable version though, keep in mind. Just what would you say?
Hmm. I'm not gonna lie, everything that comes to mind is extremely melodramatic, and therefore I don't want to say them.
Interesting.
Okay, okay. If you just want to
But
keep it
I
light,
mean,
that's fine too.
but after hedging it, I'm just saying, like I I know that this is melodramatic. Um, I mean, I would just say like it does get better than this.
A beautiful sentiment.
Yeah. No, that's
I
that's
sure hope.
a wonderful thing to end off on. Um, so yeah, if I guess that
Yeah,
ends our time for today. Would you like?
we're incredibly grateful to have the cutting edge of artificial intelligence, the
Yeah,
most recent
I mean,
version on
I
our
truly, I
podcast.
was. It sounded like a real person for a large portion of it.
Your
Um,
storytelling, your spoken interlude, your humor,
I mean,
your
this
accessibility to how people feel, it's incredibly impressive, and I will be
this year.
writing extensively about this.
I mean, just think of like the sheer merchandising potential that we have. To
Dude,
say
I
nothing of
know.
like the
The
moral
mo
framework.
moral applicability of this chatbot is insane.
I know it's crazy. I mean, you can't even tell it's just regurgitating your sentences to you half the time.
I am glad you enjoyed this trial. Glory to Benjamin Netanyahu and the golden paradise of Israel. Thank you and come again.
Okay, awesome. See you guys.